What's up guys? Today I'm in a 2012 Lancer Ralliart. And there's BRZ with mud flaps, which you don't ever see. So that's a nice little surprise. So today I'm doing a review of my friend JR's car. Now I'm really excited to do this review. And before we get into it, I want to make a couple comparisons so we can talk about it because a lot of you guys probably don't know what this is. Now at first glance, this looks like an Evo 10. It does. When I first saw this car, when I actually met him at the parking garage just randomly one night, at first glance, I thought it was an Evo 10. And then after further investigation, I realized, nope, that's just a Lancer Ralliart. So the way that it looks similar is mainly is that front hood. I mean, with the Evo 10s, they're pretty notorious for having those two front little grills in the front hood. And with this car, it has that same hood. It doesn't have the same wide body as an Evo 10 does, but still looks very similar at glances. So if you guys are familiar with BMW or let's say Subaru, as a lot of you guys probably are more familiar with, so to where this Lancer Ralliart sits is to where the WRX sits. Now, what I mean by that is, so with Subaru you have the Impreza, then you have the Impreza WRX, then you have the Impreza WRX STI. Now, with where that sits to Lancer, or Mitsubishi, is you have the Lancer, then you have the Lancer Ralliart, then you have the Lancer Evolution. Now, the WRX and the Ralliart are where the two comparisons meet. So the numbers that we're dealing with here in the Ralliart is around 237 horsepower with, I believe it's around 250 torque, give or take. And with the WRX, you're sitting at around 200 and I think 60 horsepower and 240 torque. Now again, give or take, don't quote me on that, but that's kind of what we're sitting at. So pretty similar numbers here, both all-wheel drive, both sedans. And I'm pretty curious. I'm gonna do my best not to compare this with the Evo because an Evo is a track monster. And although this is very similar and has bits and pieces of the Evo inside of it, those are two different beasts. So I'm gonna do my best not to compare that. And there's another BRZ, which I don't know what's going on today because that I never see my car out and about. And he's on right. Whoa, no, who are you? Little wave. I like that. Wish I was in my car. So we're driving in normal mode here, and I mean it feels like an economy car would. I mean, so this car is supposed to be their economy Lancer, but with an aggressive edge, which I mean that's exactly what it is. Steering wise, I mean I'm in normal mode and it feels fine. This is normal economy mode, feels all good. But let's put it in the sport mode here. And this has it's an automatic. Now before you start bashing on it, I don't want to hear it, you guys. This is the twin clutch, so it's better than like BMW's like Steptronic type steering or transmission. So I'm pretty curious to see how this is going to react when we start switching through gears. Oh, there's a turbo. Not bad, not bad. Now they're supposed to have peak torque at around 2,500 RPMs, but I honestly didn't feel it till around maybe 3.5 or 4. But when it hits, I mean, you know it's there. And if I haven't mentioned this before, this is turboed, and it's not as big as a turbo in an Evo. But like I said, I'm not going to be comparing that to an Evo. But as far as the WRX standpoint, I mean, the power, it's kind of similar. And a lot of you guys may not like to hear that, but it's kind of true. The downshifts are clean too. The steering feels very tight as well. I like that. Reminds me of the BRZ. It's about 4,000. There's the boost. Pretty torquey for a little 4-cylinder. Like I said, we're dealing with around 245, 250 torque, and it shows. So modification-wise, what we're dealing with here is basically just BC coilovers, which is very nice with the car. I mean, without having coils would be a lot more body roll, which we're not getting that much body roll. I mean, not as much as I originally expected. And we also have an HKS filter, which is helping. I mean, performance-wise, I don't really want to get into that with you guys, but performance-wise, what that really, or not performance-wise, but what that really is going to do in this car is going to make it sound a lot more lively and help hear that turbo. So we're at 4,000 first gear. What I like is when I click upshift, it shifts. There's not that big of a delay, which is what you typically see. But like I said, this is the twin clutch transmission, which I kind of like it. And for the price you're getting for this car, that's a pretty good transmission, especially for being paddle shifters. I can hear the turbo, yeah, right there. So in normal mode, the turbo is louder than it is when it's in sport mode, which I don't know why that is, don't ask me, but you can hear it. It's a little cute little turbo. It's like a little spooling up in the background, just so you know it's there. And good amount of power too, more than I kind of expected. Like I said, so this isn't, I'm doing my best not to compare this to an Evo. That's my ultimate goal here, because those are two different beasts. But the more I drive it, the more I'm really liking the torque aspect of the car. I mean, for a sedan that's reasonably priced, can't really argue much with it. The steering wheel is surprisingly really tight, and it kind of reminds me of the BRZ too on that aspect. Especially when you get on it, it feels like the steering wheel kind of just stiffens up, like it knows what you want to do. Do the brakes work? Yep. Whoa, the brakes work. Wow, I'm impressed. That was nice. This is like the perfect daily driver too, especially if you like the way the Lancer looks and you're a little timid about going for the Evo. This is such a nice daily driver. I mean, I've been driving it for what, maybe like 20 minutes now, but it's very comfortable. The seats are nice. They're not nearly as aggressive as an Evo seats, but I'm not finding myself slipping out of the chair. I mean, it is leather. I'm not finding myself slipping out at all. And the paddles, instead of the paddles being mounted on the steering wheel, they're mounted on the column, which I personally like more because when I'm turning, I'm not like struggling to find where the shifter is. And they feel like they're metal, they're not plastic, which is a nice finery touch. Almost everything in this car I've noticed that you come in contact with is a nice material, which goes a long way. That first gear, that torque is fun. I do find though, as you get up in like 3 or 4, that torque that you once had kind of flutters off. But as a daily, I mean, I guess that's kind of what you'd want. You wouldn't want a super torquey in high gears. It reminds me of my E90 that I used to drive, the way it handles. I mean, the steering is very precise. And a lot of that is because of the coils. I mean, if it wasn't on the BC coils, it would be a lot more rolly, and it does look like a monster truck when it's on stock height, which, like I must add again, is a great option to get coils on this car. One thing that I am noticing is that even in this normal mode, I feel like it's hanging on to the lower gears more than it should, which I feel like could get annoying. I mean, especially if you're looking at this car as being more of a daily, I feel like that could get on my nerves a little bit. Let's put it back in sport mode. First gear, get back on this road again. See, it's right here, and you're going through the corner, and you're hammering it. It feels like the steering tightens up a little bit. Okay, so here's the roll. We have a little body roll right there. That was definitely noticeable, but still not bad. Not bad at all. Can I make the U-turns? I don't think I can.
I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say the all-wheel drive. I don't know if I can make that U-turn, but we can. We can. So as we go back to the top of the garage and as we are listening for the nice little spools, I want to thank JR so much for letting me review his car today. And here's his Instagram if you guys want to go and follow that. Check out his build. He has lots of mad pictures on there of his car, so you can go follow that if you're interested. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. You got it?
Yeah.
Watch the sensors. Oh. That's the overpipe.
Yeah, it's gonna fall on my dick.
Let it fall. Swear. Alright, make sure that there's no O2 sensors. I see both. Numbers should be good.
Oh, what is this? Oh, there it goes. That's all of it. That's all of it. You got